Alright, Gus, let's discuss 65. So 65 follows a pilot who crash lands on an unknown terrain, Earth, 65 million years ago, with dinosaurs and whatnot, and he has to get to this escape pod with a little girl who is his passenger. I haven't seen After Earth, but I feel like this is an After Earth too. So if you've seen that movie, let me know. Honestly, after watching it, I get why it got the ratings it got. I don't think it should have been as bad. Definitely a 5 or 6 out of 10, but ratings aren't really my thing. So honestly, the trailer and the concept of this really hyped this up as an epic to me, and it really fell on its flat on its face for me. It felt kind of kiddie, like it should be on a Disney Channel or something. The acting was good, the characters' relationship was great, visual effects were really good, the sound design, but the story was really bland and predictable. So I'm unlikely to recommend this. Alright, Gus, let's discuss Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So in this movie, the crew explores the quantum realm and Scott readjusts to life after the blip. And honestly, this movie isn't as bad as the reviews. There are 3 problems I found with this movie. The major one is the pacing. The pacing is very dull and slow, like it's building up to something that it never ends up building up to. Kind of like you're watching a National Geographic Channel documentary. Second is the characters and the world. They don't explore it as much, the quantum realm. It kind of feels like just a backdrop. It's mainly just focusing on the main cast. So it's kind of like, why are these guys even here? You could have told this story anyway. Lastly, and I'm indifferent to this, there was less jokes than are usually in Ant-Man movies. No, I don't mind as long as the story is good. And to me, I understand why they went this route, because they're just rebuilding the MCU, trying to let us see what the big bad is all about. But it really drags. Like all these 3 points coming together, this story drags. And I think that's why it wasn't well received. But I still don't think it's a below 50% rating. Like I think I saw 64. I'd be okay with that. Overall, I'm unlikely to recommend this film, but I do recommend you checking out Jonathan Majors' parts in these. His acting presence is different. Alright, Gus, let's discuss Righteous Thieves. So this is a heist movie where a crew tries to steal back artwork stolen during World War II. Starting with the negative, the opening credits went on for far too long. In the opening scene, one of the actors had a questionable accent, and this movie was shot beautifully, like in a lot of open spaces, but felt empty. There were 2 visual effect moments during the heist. The first one was laughably bad, but the second one was pretty good. It involved magnets. As you expect, some of the lines are corny, but it is what it is. Some of the dialogue and character behaviors brought the film down lower than it needed to be for me. But on a positive, if it had a full arc, it didn't leave any loose ends, set up for a second movie, so it can build on this start. So I'm unlikely to recommend this one, but hopefully the sequel builds on this groundwork. Alright, Gus, let's discuss Die Hard. So this movie is a fictionalized version of Kevin trying to become an action star. Wanting to become an action star is relatable and a great concept for a movie. Okay, starting with the negatives, a big problem I had with this movie is I felt Kevin's acting felt try-hard, or his character at least felt like a try-hard. Because Kevin has grown as an actor from when he first started, but there's some character. Hey Gus, let's discuss Ambulance. So this movie is about a decorated veteran who needs money for his wife's surgery, life-saving surgery. And he goes to his adoptive brother to help him rob a bank. And I'm unlikely to recommend it. Yo, I was so hyped for this movie, but boy, was it hard to watch. I could barely make it through the first half of the movie. It's so cliche, so stereotypical, and not in a good way. Very cringy. Especially the dialogue. Don't get me started on that. I was teetering between very unlikely and unlikely, but the second half of the movie saves the value of this movie. It brings some interesting plot tools and logic that made it interesting, but the dialogue is still rough. It felt like I was watching GTA, but worse. Alright, Gus, let's discuss Hobbs and Shaw. I'm gonna be real with you. This is my first Fast and Furious movie that I've seen. Don't really know what it's about. I guess it's a buddy cop thing. two people who dislike each other but have the same goal. But I'm very unlikely to recommend it. I think most people already know what this franchise is about, so they already know whether they're going to enjoy it or not. But if you haven't, save your time. I hear you have to like take your mind out of it and all that. I just couldn't. The logic was so wild to me that it took me out of the movie. I was focusing on uh, those story points. So yeah, just do what you want with this one.